Here's 8 things you can do to improve your email reputation right now. Hey there, I'm Jillian Kendrick, and welcome to the Momentum Marketing Podcast. I'm a mama, a wife, an entrepreneur, and a 3-time best-selling co-author. In each episode, you'll get real-world practical advice and strategies, and maybe a parenting tip or 2 along the way. If you're ready to create a business that supports your family and your lifestyle, then you're in the right place. Hello there, and welcome to the Momentum Marketing Podcast. I am your host, Jillian Kendrick. I'm so excited that you're here with me today. We are talking about email reputation. So what is email reputation? Let's break that down first, and then we're going to get into the 8 things that you can do to improve your email reputation right this minute. But before we get into that, I have to tell you, I'm so excited to be launching and announcing my brand new website, jilliankendrick.com. For a long time, I was just using the agency website for different things, and now we've launched the personal brand. It's gorgeous. I'm so excited. There's so much goodness and awesome stuff, great content on that website. Go ahead and check it out at jilliankendrick.com. And make sure that wherever you get your podcasts that you are subscribed to this Momentum Marketing Podcast. So go ahead and click that plus button, the subscribe button, wherever you got, and make sure that you get the most up-to-date episodes downloaded to your phone automatically. All right, today we are talking about email reputation. Let's get into what is email reputation, why do you need it, why is it important, and the 8 things that you can do to improve your email sending reputation right now. So what is email reputation? Well, an email reputation from the sender perspective is how good are your emails? How many people are opening them? Are they getting into the inbox? Are they getting into the spam folder? Are they getting into the promotions folder or the social folder if you're on Gmail? Basically, your email sender reputation is everything. It's pretty much your online credit score, right? We have a financial credit score. Your email sender reputation is your email sending credit score, so to speak. The problem with the email sender reputation is there is no such thing as an actual score, right? You can't go emailsenderscore.com, if that even exists, and find out what your email sender score is. Nobody's going to tell you. Yahoo, Gmail, Microsoft, none of their servers, no company is going to come back and say, oh, well, you have an email reputation of 200, or you have an email reputation of 820, or nobody's going to tell you that. The way that you're going to find out, unfortunately, is that the emails you send aren't going to end up in the inbox. They're going to get blocked by these different service providers. And so, unfortunately, the way that you find out that you have a bad email reputation is your emails aren't getting to where they need to be, or somebody says, hey, your stuff is ending up in my spam folder, or they're going to the promotions tab, or they're just not even getting into the inbox, period. They're not even getting into the spam folder. They're not coming through at all. And whoever that person or these people are using as an email provider, whether it's Yahoo, Gmail, Microsoft, something else, those servers are just completely blocking your emails. And then that's when it's really bad, right? That's when your credit score is 100, and it's really, really bad. That's when your email credit score, so to speak, is on life support, and we need to do something drastic. But thankfully, if you're brand new to sending emails, if you're brand new to the world of email service providers, and you've just started building your reputation online, great news. Everybody starts with a blank reputation, right? Everybody starts at neutral, and you have the opportunity to then build your score or build up your email reputation or not build it, right? You have the opportunity to do bad things that negatively impact your sending reputation. So now that we know that, let's talk about the things that contribute to your email sender reputation and whether it can be positive or negatively impacted. Let me start out by saying and giving you my disclaimer, so to speak. There is absolutely no one singular thing that you can do that is going to drastically improve or drastically hurt your email sender reputation. When it comes to email sender reputations, there's unfortunately not a whole lot of things that we know to be super duper concrete. And that is for one specific and singular reason. It's that all of these different email providers, again, Yahoo, Gmail, Microsoft, GoDaddy has their own. There's several others, right? You could even host your own server and you could have your own email sender if you really wanted to go down that road. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could. All of these different email service providers, they all have created their own algorithms, their own AI, their own definitions of what they believe is spam, or what their users have given them feedback on that they believe is spam. There isn't just one singular rule. There isn't one thing that says, oh yes, definitely do this, definitely don't do that, etc. But we know from years and years of experience, again, unfortunately through trial and error, because Microsoft, to my knowledge, isn't going to produce a document that says, okay, if you want a good email sender reputation with us, you have to do these things. Google isn't going to produce a document that says, if you want to go to the spam folder, definitely do this stuff. They're just not. Some of it is because it's proprietary. Some of it is because it's coded into their system. There's all sorts of reasons why they're not going to divulge that information, but it definitely makes a bit of a game for us marketers. But there are a few things that we know to be absolutely true. So let me say it again. There's no one singular thing that you can do that is going to drastically improve or hurt your email reputation. The way that you hurt or improve your email reputation is by doing something or doing lots of things over a period of time. It's kind of like losing weight, right? If you want to gain weight, if you eat 2 cupcakes or 3 cupcakes in a day, you might not necessarily gain all that much weight, but if you eat 2 or 3 cupcakes every single day, well, then you're probably going to gain weight, just a guess. And it's the exact same thing with email reputation. So consistency is the most important thing here. And there's so many things that you can do to improve your email reputation. Let's get into a few of those. Number 1, stay away from spammy words inside of subject lines. And I'm sure you can guess what spammy words would be. You want to stay away from words like money, buy, income, extra cash, make money. Using dollar signs could potentially be bad. Debt is another spammy word. Credit check is a spammy word. Weight loss can be very spammy. The word pharmacy can be very spammy. Anything related to like sexual innuendos or anything that could be considered explicit, like XXX. Even misspellings of certain words, like S3XY, could also be spammy. Financial freedom is a big one. Winner, winning. But again, there's no one hard and fast rule of exactly the words that have to be used. My recommendation is to use an email service provider or an email sender or a CRM, a contact relationship management software. And if you want a suggestion, I have a great one that I absolutely love using and can tell you a lot more about. But when I go to send an email through my email service provider, it actually has a spam score that tells me whether my email looks a little too spammy. And you want to avoid these not only in the subject lines, but also in the email body. And be really careful when using emojis or GIFs inside of emails. You can use a few, that's totally fine. They're lots of fun and they're captivating. It's great to look at an email and see a GIF or an image or an emoji and our eyes immediately gravitate towards that, right? Like that's marketing, that's attention getting, that's good stuff. But be careful that you don't do it too much because it can definitely hinder your email reputation. Because what the email service provider sees on the back end is not an emoji, it's the actual like code text for an emoji, and too much of that, again, looks like spam. It looks like code. It looks like somebody trying to do bad stuff to your inbox. The next thing you can do to help your email reputation online is to regularly clean your list. So I highly recommend cleaning at least once a month, if not bare minimum once a quarter or twice a year. Go through your email service provider and see who's opening your emails, who's clicking on your emails, who's actively engaging, who wants to hear from you. And if somebody has gone longer than, I'd say 3 or 4 months of not opening emails, then get rid of them. They don't need to be on your list anymore. And I know that's hard to hear. I know it's really difficult to get rid of those people. You've paid money through like Facebook ads or Google to acquire that lead, and to get rid of them feels like you're just washing money down the drain. But trust me, you will be washing so much more money down the drain if you have a bad email reputation and can't send emails to anybody, rather than just sending them to the people who are actively engaged in your list. And not only is it important to send emails to only the people that want to receive those emails, but also sending them the right emails. So no matter what your business is, things can be interrelated. So for instance, let's say you own a bakery and somebody subscribed because they're interested in receiving a bread recipe, right? But maybe they could also be interested in come into the store and we'll give you a free cookie, or hey, what are you doing for cakes for your kid's birthday, right? Stuff like that. I have cake on the brain apparently today. But you want to make sure that your content is related and relatable. You don't want to be sending emails of subjects that people just aren't interested in, right? Maybe they're interested in receiving podcast updates, but they're not interested in receiving emails about a private event. Or maybe they're interested in emails about suggestions on how to fix their computer or get it running faster, but they're not interested in emails of, buying a printer or something like that. And the email service provider or the CRM that you use should be good enough that you're able to segment people into different buckets and different lists, depending on what content they want to receive. If your service provider can't do that, let's say like, a MailChimp or Constant Contact or something, again, contact me, let's talk, let's have a conversation, because I have a great email service provider that I love and use all the time. Not only do we want to curate the content that we're sending and who we're sending it to, but it's really important when it comes to your email reputation that you're getting positive feedback from your audience. And positive feedback looks like this. They are opening emails, they're receiving those emails, they're clicking links, and they're replying to your emails. Doing all 4 of those things will help improve your email sender reputation. People not opening your emails, not clicking, not replying will hurt your email reputation. And you want to make sure that they have double opted in. So what is a double opt-in versus a single opt-in? What is an opt-in? Let's talk about that. An opt-in is when somebody fills out a form, fills out a Facebook ad, goes to your website and subscribes to your newsletter and raises their hand and says, yes, I want to receive emails from this person or this company. That's an opt-in or a single opt-in. A double opt-in, they go to your website, they subscribe to your newsletter, and then you send them an email or automatically send them an email saying, hey, thanks so much for subscribing to the newsletter. Please click here to verify your email address. The act of them opening that email and clicking the link to verify their email address or verify that, yes, this is me, I've signed up for this thing and I want to receive information from you, that's called a double opt-in. You are so much more likely, again, I can't give you percentages, I can't tell you exactly because the email service providers don't give us that feedback, but I can tell you that you are so much more likely to get into the inbox of someone who has double opted in to receive your emails because they've twice said, yes, I'm raising my hand, I want to get information from you. You're so much more likely to get into the inbox of that person than you are to get into the inbox of somebody who's single opted in, and you're just light years immensely more likely to get into the inbox of somebody who's actually opted in, as opposed to going and buying a list, loading that into your email system, and just blast spamming tons of email addresses of people who don't know you and who have never opted in. That I can definitively say is going to hurt your email reputation online. Please don't do that. Don't go buy email lists and then email people who have never heard of you. Don't do it. Now, there are a few technical things that you can do to help improve your email deliverability and your email sending reputation online. They are DKIM, SPF, and DMARC, DMARC. Let's get into each of them. I'll explain it as best as I can. And I want to talk about the way that email is received from different email servers. DKIM is Domain Key Identified Mail. Basically, DKIM is a way for your email service provider or the CRM that you use or the way that you send emails to generate a code to send that to whoever owns your domain or whoever hosts your domain, right? HostGator, WP Engine, GoDaddy, whoever it is. Those two things aren't connected, right? You're sending emails from an email service provider, but you're sending them as hello@yourdomain.com or your name at yourdomain.com, right? So for instance, mine, Jillian Kendrick, my email address is hello@jilliankendrick.com or jillian@jilliankendrick.com. And when I send emails, I send it through my email service provider, but my email service provider doesn't own or host my domain, my jilliankendrick.com. So I'm sending emails as jilliankendrick.com. That's where the reputation is actually being built, but the place that that domain is hosted or housed is in WP Engine. It's completely different than where I'm actually sending the emails from. So what DKIM does, what DKIM, Domain Key Identified Mail does, is I can generate a code from inside of my email service provider, and then I put that code inside of my hosted domain that says, hey domain, us, the email service provider, is sending emails on behalf of this domain, and just so you know, everything's kosher. We're cool. Here's a line of code to prove that we are who we say we are and that we're sending emails appropriately from this domain. And if you see any other emails trying to be sent from this domain without this code, just know it's not us. Setting up DKIM is super easy, again, as long as your email service provider has it, and it can be an incredible way for you to improve your email sending reputation online. And I'll say it again, if you're working with a CRM or an email service provider that does not support DKIM, I can tell you definitively you're using the wrong email service provider and we should have a conversation. The next thing is going to be SPF, Sender Policy Framework. So SPF allows an email sender to define which IP address can send email on their behalf. Kind of sounds a lot like DKIM, but it's a little bit different. DKIM uses an encryption key and digital signature to verify an email address, right? We talked about that code. Whereas SPF actually defines an IP address that's allowed to send emails on their behalf. And again, it says, hey email host, hey email server, hey domain server, if you see emails being sent from anybody but us, just know that it's not us, right? And again, that proves that you're a human being actively working on improving your email reputation online. And it's just another process of verification to make sure that you are who you say that you are. The last one is DMARC, DMARC. This is Domain-Based Messaging Authentication, Reporting, and Conformance. It's an email security policy that allows email senders to specify policies for how their emails should be handled if it's received by a receiving server. So in other words, DMARC tells Gmail, hey, when your servers receive an email from me, this is how I want you to handle that email. This is what I want you to do with it. Here's a suggestion on what I'm trying to get at. Now, I will say this from experience and being in this industry for over 13 years, DMARC is not something that I recommend to my clients to set up on their own. Whenever my agency goes to set up DMARC for a client, I actually hire out and have a couple of good friends that do this for a living. We hire their agency to set up DMARC for all of our clients. DKIM and SPF are pretty easy. You usually just generate a code, do a couple of things inside of your domain server, and it's done in maybe an hour or a couple of minutes if you really know what you're doing. But DMARC is something very specific where lots of stuff has to be written out. I would not recommend trying to do DMARC on your own. If you are interested in setting up DMARC, if you want more information about improving your email reputation online, just contact me at hello@jilliankendrick.com, and I would be happy to either have a conversation with you about it or recommend you to the people that we use. Now, we've talked about DKIM, SPF, DMARC. I know that's a lot of a lot of acronyms being thrown around here, but let me try to explain it in as layman's terms as I can. Here's how email works. You have an email service provider, MailChimp, GoDaddy, Constant Contact, and if you don't have one, or if you have the ones that I mentioned, contact me, let's have a conversation, because we have something so much better for you. When you have an email service provider, that email service provider is sending out emails from their server, right? Like they have an actual server somewhere in a warehouse, maybe Canada, probably Silicon Valley, where these email servers, these actually like massive computers and memory banks live and exist in a warehouse. And these email servers send all of the emails for pretty much everyone on that email service provider. So if you're sending emails from Constant Contact, you're technically using Constant Contact's email servers to send all of your emails. And where that can benefit you is that Constant Contact or other email service providers could potentially, I don't know what their reputation is online, but they could potentially have a good reputation with some of these other email providers. Again, Gmail, Yahoo, Microsoft, AOL, just to name a few. And when they have relationships with these email providers, you're much more likely to get into the inbox of the people that you're trying to email, because when you send from the same server as everybody else is sending from, you're also kind of adopting or borrowing, so to speak, their reputation, which could be a good and a bad thing. If you're sending emails from an email service provider whose collective body of all of their users have a good email sending reputation and their servers are secure and trusted by other email providers, then that's great. That gives you a leg up. But if you don't, right? If you're sending from a Constant Contact or a MailChimp or somewhere where they don't have a lot of that good reputation, or they don't have a lot of the more important best practices built into their email sending, then you're at the risk and the mercy of leaving your reputation up to those servers. So the server itself that you're sending the emails from contributes to your email reputation, and everyone else who's on that server, so every single person who uses Constant Contact, every business who sends emails from MailChimp, you're all contributing to the health of that email server. And if it's bad, then it's bad for everybody. But if it's good for everybody. And then what happens on the back end, so every company has their own email server that then sends emails on behalf of their clients. And then the email providers like Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, Microsoft, GoDaddy, etc., they all have their own servers where they receive those emails on behalf of people who use their services, right? Lots of people have first name, last name at gmail.com as their email address. Well, Gmail has their own server that they receive that email from, right? And so these servers have to talk to one another. These servers have, consider them kind of like firewalls where, you know, if an email has certain words, or if an email looks spammy, or if an email is coming from a bad server or somebody with a bad email reputation, then that firewall, so to speak, is going to send that email to the spam folder, or it's going to prevent it from getting into the inbox. Or in worst case, it's not even going to send it to the spam folder. It's just going to completely block that email and not let it come in at all. That's like triage time, worst case scenario. Very, very bad stuff for your email reputation. And I'll say it again, there really is no one singular thing that you can do that is going to drastically improve your sending reputation online. It's a matter of doing all of the things, doing them well, following those best practices, and being consistent about it that is going to contribute to your overall email sender reputation. Let's just recap. Stay away from spammy words in subject lines. Stay away from spammy words in bodies of emails. Be careful when you're adding emojis, GIFs, and images to your emails. Regularly clean your list every month, every quarter, if not at least twice a year or more. Use email best practices when sending to people who want to receive them and when sending emails about the subject that they want to be receiving. Set up DKIM, set up SPF, talk to me if you're interested in DMARC. Make sure that you have a double opt-in process for all of the people that are subscribing, and make sure that you're using an email service provider, not MailChimp, not Constant Contact, that has a good reputation online that is going to help contribute to your emails getting into the inbox of the customers, right? Because if we're sending emails and they're not even getting into the inbox, like if people don't even have the opportunity to see them and to open them, then there's no point. So you have to be sending emails, not only following these best practices, but you have to be sending emails from an email service provider that has a good reputation online. And if you want to know more about the one that I use and the one that I've trusted for over a decade, contact me at hello@jilliankendrick.com and we'll get you set up. Your action item for today, because I love my action items. Your action item for today is to go and test your email service. Go and look up what is the online reputation of the email service provider that you're using. Look back at past emails that you've sent and see, are they spammy? Could people actually opt out? Does this look like something that I would want to open? Could an email service provider consider this spam? Could a human consider this spam? Am I following the email best practices? Do I have DMARC? Do I have SPF? Do I have DKIM set up? If not, talk to Jillian. And if listening to this brought you any value, has improved your life, has improved your business, or given you any insight to help you build your own momentum, then please share this podcast episode with a friend, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.